At first, you were still seeing your friends. You still had your own routine. You still had a life outside the relationship. But then the comments started. Why do you still talk to them? They don't really have your back. I thought we were enough for each other. You didn't notice it right away because it didn't feel like control. It felt like closeness. But now, you've stopped reaching out. You cancel more than you show up. And every time you do try to connect with someone outside the relationship, it comes at a cost. So what's really happening here? Your relationship is shrinking your world. Not physically, not in obvious ways. But emotionally, psychologically, your life is closing in. And the most dangerous part, it doesn't always look like force. Sometimes it sounds like, I just miss you when you're gone. They're a bad influence. I thought we were in this together. Or you used to be more focused on us. So what do? You begin adjusting, not to keep the peace, but to preserve the connection. And that's how it all starts. You don't stop seeing people because you don't care. You stop seeing them because you don't want to lose the one person who's made themselves the center of your world. But here's what you don't see yet. They're not protecting you. They're isolating you. Because when no one else is around, there's no one left to reflect the truth back at you. No one to say, that's not okay. You haven't sounded like yourself lately. Or you don't need to live like this. When a person wants power over you, the first thing they do is to remove your mirrors, the people who keep you grounded in your reality. That's not love, that's possession. So let's look at what this kind of isolation really looks like. You stop talking about your relationship to your friends because you know they'll have opinions. You feel guilty when you enjoy time away from them. You second-guess yourself before reaching out to anyone. And then you become emotionally dependent on the one person to meet all your needs. You're more comfortable staying in, but deep down you feel cut off. And here's a subtle manipulation. They don't forbid you, they just make everything outside of them feel wrong. So now we're going to look at how they reframe isolation as love. They'll say, I'm just looking out for you. They don't support us. We've got something really special. They just don't get it. Or, why do you need them when you've got me? It sounds like devotion. But what it really is territorial control. They want to be the only voice in your head because the less perspective you have, the more powerful they become. And that's when love stops being connection and it becomes containment. So why do you tolerate it? Because deep down you crave closeness. You want to be chosen, prioritized, held tightly. But there's a difference between held and being contained. And sometimes the line between the two gets blurred by emotional need, loneliness, or past abandonment issues. But here's your clarity. If being loved means being cut off, that's not love. That's isolation dressed up as intensity. So how do you reclaim your outside world? Firstly, ask, what have I stopped doing since I've been with them? Who did you stop talking to? Parts of your life went quiet. Track what disappeared when they arrived. Then test your own autonomy. Make plans, reconnect, take a solo day out. Watch how they respond. Or do they support it? Or do they make you feel guilty? Their reaction is your emotional report card. Reconnect without explanation. You don't need to defend your need for community. You're not asking for permission. you're returning to yourself. So start small, one message, one plan, one conversation, and remember, you're not disloyal for needing more than one person. Then check your internal narrative. If you feel bad for stepping away, ask, who taught me that closeness means total enmeshment? Because love isn't supposed to steal your identity, it's supposed to expand it. And in my final takeaway, healthy love connects you to life. Toxic love cuts you off from it. If your world has gotten smaller, if your voice has gotten quieter, and if your days revolve around their moods, their needs, and their approval, you're not thriving. You're trapped. And you don't owe anyone a smaller version of yourself just to keep the relationship happy. You are allowed to have a life, you are allowed to have support, and you are allowed to belong to more than one person. Because real love doesn't isolate, it integrates. And if they're threatened by your connection to the world, that's not about love, that's about power.